Hey everyone, Tony D with a hot take. Couple of things before we get into it. Little Joan is on the couch. She, no lie, she's got like a dozen treats spread all over the house in various parts of the floor, like Legos, and I'm stepping on them in my bare feet, and it's very annoying. Um, but if you'd like to support the channel, smash like and subscribe. Hopefully, you'll see Little Joan in an upcoming video today. I don't know, she's being very finicky. Um, in other news, someone suggested that I should say my whole name, which is Tony DiGerolamo, by the way, because they couldn't find the channel by searching for Tony D. And I was like, that's true. So what I'm going to try to remember to do, is put Tony D in the, as one of the search words. So perhaps then it will come up. So my apologies. That's a good suggestion. Thank you for the comment. Now let's get into it. This is your Antifa update. The Lancaster thing. Very interesting. Very interesting developments here. So the reason I say it's Antifa is Tim Pool and some other people are reporting that it seems to be that Antifa organized some of this, possibly via the internet, possibly having people actually show up to be on the ground to organize it, because they have similar tactics. And it did escalate rather quickly, so that makes sense. Here's the great news. Lancaster protesters held on a whopping $1 million bail each after alleged riots. 12 adults, one juvenile charged for allegedly rioting on Monday. Boom. This is what needs to happen. This, and you won't be surprised to hear this, but Lancaster is now quiet. I said this yesterday to Mayor Deneen Soros. Arrest people. Arrest people and the rioting will stop. Ta-da! Now, I don't know if Mayor Deneen Soros actually pushed for this or if she actually pushed for the opposite. But we'll see in the weeks to come. A Pennsylvania judge threw the book at several protesters, setting their bail at $1 million each for allegedly rioting in the wake of the police shooting of a knife-wielding Lancaster man. Lancaster police nabbed a dozen people and one juvenile for staging the riots around 3 a.m. Monday in clashes that culminated in police deploying tear gas at the crowd. And, I saw some of the footage from that. It wasn't even that bad, really, but as compared to Portland. But this is how you stop it. You stop it dead in its tracks, and it's quiet tonight in Lancaster. 12 adults. They don't say where they're from, but they list their names. They're all around 20 to 40 something. The oldest one is 43. Looks like the youngest, I thought they said a juvenile. I guess they don't give his name. They face a slew of felony and misdemeanor charges, including arson, riot, institutional vandalism, I don't know what that is, and criminal conspiracy. And a 16-year-old boy was also busted on riot disorderly conduct. Possession of instruments of a crime, I don't know what that is. Possession of a small amount of marijuana, always. Propulsion of missiles onto a roadway, and institutional vandalism. I don't know what that means. It's an interesting crime. And this is the picture of, I guess, some of the alleged rioters. Montague of York, PA, faces an additional charge of illegal possession of a firearm. This guy looks awfully happy to be arrested. I don't know why. I guess put a positive spin on anything. Joshua Dwayne Montague. Yeah, he apparently brought a weapon of some kind. Good. Bail information was not available for Lopez. Which one was Lopez? Was he the 16-year-old kid? And let's see. Oh, no. It was one of the other people. Bail was only set at $100,000. And some of these people are in jail because they can't afford the bail. And that's part of the point. Social justice advocacy group Lancaster Stands Up claimed Patterson and Enterline were working as, quote, medics at the Munez protest when they were arrested. Yeah, maybe. But who knows? Most of these medics don't know what they're doing. And Antifa typically lies. They put on press. They write press on their helmets and pretend to be press. And they pretend to be medics. They pretend to be lots of things. So, of course, Lancaster Stands Up is complaining about it. The absurdly high bail amounts indicate that what we're seeing is not a measured pursuit of justice, but a politically motivated attack on the movement for police reform and accountability, the group tweeted. Yeah, nice try. You are not a measured pursuit of justice, but a politically motivated attack. So that seems fair to me. It seems fair. About 150 protesters returned to the streets Monday night calling for justice in the death of Munez, but demonstrators remained peaceful. Good. Good. Stay peaceful or go to jail. That's how you do it. Unfortunately, it's not all good news. Oop, Don Lemon. Get out of here, Don Lemon. No, other bad news. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, police shooting of knife-wielding man is ruled a homicide. And this sounds very political to me. And this is CNN. The fatal police shooting of a knife-wielding man in Pennsylvania over the weekend has been ruled a homicide, the Lancaster County coroner said Tuesday. Now, I'm not exactly sure why. This may be a technicality. It may be just the coroner confirming, yes, he was shot to death. But it seems that, this announcement is either being, lifted up by CNN as something significant when it's not, or somebody behind the scenes is trying to, if we charge somebody with homicide, then maybe the protesters will be satisfied. They won't. They absolutely will not. But you see what happens when they're faced with $1 million bail. Bum, bum, bum. They go to jail, and people start thinking twice about being peaceful. This isn't about suppressing the First Amendment. No one will stop you from walking down the street carrying a sign saying, hey, I feel that there's been an injustice here. No one. You might annoy people, but that's about it. But if you run around and throw a brick through a window, that's illegal. If you steal picnic tables and block the road, that's illegal. That's stealing. That's causing a disturbance in the road. I'm sure there's a law for it. If you light them on fire, that's vandalism. That's also stealing on top of that. I mean, there are laws. Arrest people. Now, do I think $1 billion bail is too high? Yeah, I do. That is way too high. But I totally understand why the judge posted that. Because these rioters have access to tons and tons of money, and this is a amount they can afford. Because first off, if you've ever dealt with bail, you arrange it with a bail bondsman, and you pay the bail bondsman, I want to say 10%, and then he puts up the other 90%. And then when you get out, I guess you get your you don't get your money back, but you don't have to put up the 90% of it. Not sure totally how it works, but I know you had to put up 10%. So, the organizations like the Minnesota Freedom Fund and a lot of the GoFundMe things are funneling money to these woke idiots and getting them out of jail. So it makes sense that the judge would up the bail to try to make these organizations think twice about bailing these people out. Now, Deneen Soros, the mayor, was like, oh, what are we going to do? This is what you do. You arrest people, you prosecute them. And then they think twice about rioting in your city. And we're talking about rioters, not protesters. This is the distinction. See, they even put Lancaster protesters held. They're not protesters if you riot. They're rioters. They're criminals. You know, if you go downtown and you intend to have dinner, but you in the middle of dinner you decide to mug people, the headline shouldn't be local diners arrested. Arrested for alleged mugging. No, that's not what you are. You're an alleged mugger. These are alleged rioters. There was a riot. They're being accused of starting it, exacerbating it, or whatever. So, you know, you got to arrest them. At the very least, arrest them. Let them go through the process, and hopefully they're not going to run back on the street and do it again. If they do, they should definitely be arrested again. This is how you maintain law and order. You don't let people riot in the city. You don't. This isn't about your First Amendment. This isn't about your rights. This is about simple law and order. You can't have any kind of system if people are rioting in the streets. You can't. Okay? If people are pissed off, they have to be grown-ups and use the system to the best of their abilities. Run for office. And then you could be one of these lunatics in Portland and abolish the police and then have all sorts of problems. And then, you know, you can take the blame when this happens again. Because it will happen again if you continue to defund the police and generally act like dummies. I mean, this is dumb. To riot is dumb. It doesn't do anything. It makes you the enemy. You've set back the cause for police reform by many, many decades. You're not going to get it. Yeah, some places will have, you know, they'll cut budgets, and then when crime goes up, they'll uncut them. A year from now, they'll be increasing budgets all over the place, except in a couple of places like Minneapolis and Portland, where they politically can't. So, you know, people won't stand for it. You'll be thrown out of office. You will literally, look, the people who vote for law and order type stuff, for Republican, tends to be Republican. But some were on the Democratic side too. Those people are leaving the Democrats in droves. They're leaving it because of things like this. Because you've allowed Antifa to run amok because you think they're on your side. And then once you get some Democrats in, oh, they'll all just go home. No, they're communist. They're not on your side. They're using you like you're trying to use them. Only their goal is the complete collapse of the state, which they won't succeed, but they will do a tremendous amount of damage, which no one will trust Democrats to fix. Not anymore. Your credibility's shot. You had the media telling people, well, you know, this progressive can fix things, just like Insider New Jersey every day seems to be telling me how wonderful Amy Kennedy is, even though she's only running for Congress against Jeff Van Drew. It's not going to work. Listen to Joan out there. See how upset she is about this? So yeah, it's a dumb thing to do to protest. Riot. They got me doing it. Look, even the sub headline here on the picture: protests erupt. Protests don't erupt. Protests are held. Riots erupt. So look, people of Lancaster, do you want change? Do you have a problem with your cops? Then, you know, address it properly. There's all sorts of boring stuff you can do, filling out forms and talking to the right people or running for office. If you're willing to do some tedious, boring stuff, you can get change. If you want to riot in the street and get it done in a week, it won't work. Won't work in a month, won't work in a year. This kind of change is incremental, and it takes many, many, many years. So grow up. Stop rioting, stop looting, and be big boys and big girls.